Hey everybody, Ryan here at etrailer. Today on our 2019 Ford F-150, we're going to be taking a look at and showing you how to install the Curt T-connector vehicle wiring harness. So one of the great things about this wiring kit is the fact that it's just going to more or less plug right in, so it's super easy. Regardless if your truck has a tow package or not, the factory wiring is still going to be there for us to use. So the 7-way wiring more or less just plugs right in. And the great thing is, many of the F-150s that I've came across, like I said, regardless if they have a tow package or not, usually have a 4-way flat trailer connector right from the factory. And since this taps right in, you're still going to be able to utilize both. So not only can you have your 4-way flat, but you're also going to have that 7-way round connector. So super common type of connector. Really be able to expand what type of trailers you can tow and so on. So have a nice spring-loaded cap there to keep moisture and dirt and debris out of there whenever you're not using it. It's also going to have a little catch there too, so when you are plugged in, that's going to help prevent your wiring from accidentally getting pulled out. Now, we do get a ton of questions in regards to these F-150s about being able to use a brake controller. And by using this, it's really going to simplify things. Using this, since it taps in line of that factory wiring, what you're able to do is utilize the factory plug underneath the dash up by the driver's seat and plug in a brake controller. And so if that's something you're wanting to do, I know a lot of our customers are, if you get this, you're really close to being able to sub brake controller. You just need that adapter plug that goes into the dash and the brake controller itself. So this makes it really simple and not too involved. The other ways to be able to get a brake controller requires you to kind of piece everything together and run wiring and everything else. So this really does simplify things and make life a lot easier. So at the end of the day, kit you really can't go wrong with, whether you're looking just to pull a trailer that has a 7-way connector or hook up a brake controller. This can allow you to get the job done. Now, as far as the installation goes, since it does more or less plug right in, really doesn't take a whole lot of time and shouldn't give you a whole lot of issues. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and do that together now. To begin our installation, we're going to be here underneath the back of our truck. And what we're going to need to do is locate a factory connector plug. That way we can get our harness connected up. I do want to mention I temporarily removed our spare tire just because it makes it a lot easier. Got much more room to work down here. So over here on the driver's side, just on top of this metal brace, we can locate our plug. So what we need to do is separate the two ends. You can push down on the center of that tab and pull the two apart. So when we have it like that, we can grab our new harness, and as you can see, the ends match up with the factory connector plug there. So what I'm going to do is plug one side into the factory wiring and the other side into the other end there. At this point, we can take the white wire here with that pre-attached ring terminal and secure that to a solid piece of metal, because this is going to act as a ground. So it turns out we have this nice lip here, clean, thick piece of metal, so it'll work out perfect. We'll take the self-tapping screw and run that down. So what I went ahead and did is just kind of bundled up all of our extra wiring and used some zip ties to keep it secure. And really not too much routing in this case. That's because where we're going to run this plug will get connected to our 7-way. And what I've done is just drilled a 2-inch hole right here next to our license plate. And what we can do is take our 7-way plug, push it in, come back, and connect these two pieces together. Now, you don't have to do it this way. what you can always do is pick up some brackets and mount your 7-way connector plug to the hitch itself, or multiple different ways to do it. So whichever situation best suits your needs, you can mount it up that way. So what I'll go ahead and do is first secure our plug, and once it's mounted, then we can go back underneath and actually plug it in. So just push that through our opening, and I'm just going to use some self-tapping screws to get it secure. I'll line it up as straight as I can and run these in. So now back underneath the truck, we can take our wiring end and plug it into our connector. With this side though, what I'm going to do is take some dielectric grease and just put a coating over the terminals to help keep them protected from corrosion and things like that. And you can always grab some of this right here at etrailer. Get that coating on. This is simply just going to push right onto the back of the connector plug there. So now it's a good idea to test your wiring to make sure that it's working properly. So we'll go ahead and try out our left turn, our right turn, our brakes, our running lights, the reverse lights, and if you had a brake controller, you could hit the manual override and make sure that is sending a signal out. And as far as the 12-volt auxiliary power goes, with a lot of these Ford pickups, there actually has to be a load detected for it to send that signal out. So in our case, our tester isn't going to put enough load on it to send that 12-volt out. But if you were to hook up to, say, a pop-up camper or something like that, then that's when that signal would be sent out of our 7-way connector plug. Now, just kind of a quick tech tip, something that I want to mention. If you test your wiring and you're not receiving all of these signals that you should be, first thing to check is the fuse box here under the hood on the passenger side right here. In our case, all the fuses were installed, but in the past I've came across some trucks where the fuses simply just weren't in the fuse block right out of the factory. And so I got all of our signals to work by simply putting new fuses in and filling those empty voids. So just kind of a quick tech tip, if you're having any issues, check this first. If you have any missing fuses, be sure to go ahead and install them and test it again. Chances are pretty good once you get them in there, everything will work out properly. And that'll finish up our look at and our installation of the Curt T-connector vehicle wiring harness on our 2019 Ford F-150.